Blake Lively continues to make headlines.
Do you think I want to make you pay?
This was my first time as a villain.
I think about her all the time. The faceless blonde I thought I knew.
Because someone spoke to me improperly on the phone, and I was deeply upset by this conversation, and I was therefore incapable. I could not trust myself to go live, or I would have just been naming names, and I would have been ratchet and out of control.
I always say a broken clock is right twice a day, but I'm not here to call Candace Owens a broken clock. She is sort of like anti-establishment. She's really hard to lock down because she, might be pro a stance that you're against and vice versa.
Candace Owens exposes the New York Times and Blake Lively. At this point, Justin Baldoni should just hire Candace onto his league.
For years, Blake Lively has been viewed as the epitome of charm, talent, and grace, the quintessential Hollywood golden girl with a seemingly flawless reputation. But recently, conservative commentator Candace Owens took to live television with claims that could shatter this carefully crafted image. Owens alleged that beneath Lively's wholesome facade lies a history of secret legal settlements, hidden scandals, and a past that Hollywood has gone to great lengths to keep buried.
Did it become clear to you that Blake Lively was the aggressor in this now epic showdown? Was it right after was it when Baldoni dropped the countersuit? Was it when Brian Friedman put up the website with the 170 pages and all the text? Or was it right away when the Times wrote?
Right away, I've always had an intuition about her, and I've always had an intuition about Taylor Swift and like the branding of the nice girl stuff. And something just didn't, I went through Justin Baldoni's Instagram and he just seemed like a puppy. And it just didn't add up to me that this guy was secretly just dying to talk about pornography all the time and talk about his porn addiction and wanted her to look at pornography. I'm going, this is not the Instagram feed I'm looking through. And I went back years and I was frustrated by how nice he was.
And he's doing TED Talks about, we men need to be better. I mean, he's that man bun, male apologist that it would really fly in the face of everything he's put out there about himself. So, yeah, that would be odd. I wonder if he ever looked at his Instagram.
Sniff test.
Blake has built her career on the image of the ultimate girl next door. Classy, elegant, scandal-free. But according to Candace Owens, that's all a carefully constructed facade hiding something much darker. And Candace didn't just throw shade. She came armed with what she claims are receipts, documents, proof, evidence that could allegedly expose Blake Lively in ways no one saw coming. And Blake? Oh, she snapped.
Listen to me, Blake Lively. Tap out, call uncle right now. Please take my advice. Narrator, she did not listen. She did not take my advice at all. I said that having read through Blake Lively's complaints, that it was evident to me that she was likely under the influence when she filed her complaint. Not under the influence of drugs, not under the influence of alcohol, but of the influence of proximity to Taylor Swift. Maybe one Eras tour too many had been attended by her and Brian, and they were just feeling like they were Taylor Swift. I just recognized her brand of feminism, and I called that name. I said that before we even knew that Taylor Swift was somehow involved in this entire debacle. Okay?
Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you might never look at Blake Lively the same way again. What began as an ordinary episode of Candace Owens' show quickly took a dramatic turn when she made an unexpected claim with an air of certainty. Owens stated, "Funny how Hollywood loves to preach morality while protecting predators like Blake Lively." The statement alone was enough to send shockwaves across social media, leaving viewers stunned. The studio allegedly fell into silence before Owens continued, saying, "I have the receipts, and America deserves to know."
Now that there has been a little bit of a pause in the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni case, there was just so many new documents coming out, we could, really couldn't sift through it all. A lot of people are asking questions about who is Tara Keat. Now, Tara Keat was mentioned by Megan Twohey in the New York Times article, but never made its way through the actual complaint.
Remember, in which Tara Keat was cited as saying essentially that the media environment around Blake Lively, given all the negative press coverage, appeared to be manipulated.
So Tara Keat was a company that was meant, I guess by Blake Lively's side, to give a professional opinion that the traffic around Blake Lively was actually manipulated. So here's what they had to say, and credit to Team Justin Baldoni here on the subreddit. before pulling this up. They said there's no mention of the company Terakeet in Blake Lively's complaint or lawsuit. So where did Megan Twohey get that info about Terakeet for her article? Now, of course, that she got it from Blake Lively.
Owens didn't provide immediate proof, but suggested that Lively's past included a secret legal settlement from her Gossip Girl days, multiple NDAs signed to cover up incidents with cast and crew, and a carefully constructed good girl persona designed to hide problematic behavior. The implication was clear. There was a darker side to Blake Lively that Hollywood had worked hard to keep hidden.
Yeah.
And I knew a bit about her. I knew how she grew up. I knew that she kind of was one of these people. What tends to be the case is that when you grow up with everything, you create things out of nothing because you're looking for struggle in your life and you're used to getting whatever it is that you want. So I just kind of had her down to a prototype and said, I'm going to pump the brakes and see what happens. And then when Brian Friedman came back with the facts, they were just undeniable. You know, it was undeniable and it contextualized everything. And it really was quite horrific because you just go, what kind of a monster even goes through with this CRD filing and doesn't include the proper context of these things? Like, he showed me a pornographic video on the phone. Oh, you meant a birth video of his wife? Like, nobody's looking at live birth porn. And so it was monstrous what she did, and she's got to pay for it.
On the Blake versus Justin front,
Who I am is a work in progress.
Blake got the internet buzzing by making a false reference in her filing to Justin's 5 mistresses and 5 psychiatrists. Turns out that was apparently a sarcastic comment made by Justin's legal team as they complained about Blake's desperate search for evidence.
Baldoni's lawyers are saying that this is all a fishing expedition and Lively's looking for things that don't exist. They made that comment in jest and potentially causing Baldoni damage. So it's something that he's going to use. They're doing everything they can because this is a very nasty fight.
Perhaps the most shocking implication in Owens' statements was the hint at potential criminal allegations. Though she didn't elaborate on what they entailed, she promised that she would be releasing documents in the near future. As with many high-profile exposes, the absence of immediate evidence raises questions about whether this is a legitimate scandal or just an attempt to stir up controversy.
It's essentially a request for documents that could indeed be extremely relevant to the case. And they're saying, we only want this to be shared between the attorneys, not even with the parties to the suit. So that means, Brian Friedman can see it, their lawyers can see it, but we're talking like not even Melissa Nathan or Justin Baldoni could see it because it might be very damaging to third parties. So to give you an example, if Brian Friedman subpoenas Taylor Swift's text messages, wink, wink, that's what I want to see, and it reveals that actually Taylor Swift was LOLing with Blake Lively about being a dragon. She was like, yeah, I'm a dragon. Rawr. And she was like plotting the takeover of the movie because she's bored and it's Tuesday and Joe Alwyn isn't responding to her text messages anymore and she's already finished her album. Well, Blake Lively's team is essentially requesting the right for their attorney to just designate that AEO, attorney eyes only, because that might unfairly harm the reputation of Taylor Swift. If the judge actually grants that kind of a protection order, the attorneys would become the judge of what exactly could be designated AEO.
If sources are to be believed, Lively did not take these accusations lightly. Reports suggest that instead of issuing a carefully worded PR response, she allegedly reacted with fury behind closed doors. Some insiders claim that she lashed out at her team, expressing frustration over the fact that this information hadn't been buried sooner. Others say that she immediately sought legal action against Owens and instructed her lawyers to shut down any further discussion.
Proposed PO differs from this court's model PO primarily by adding the following: an attorney's eyes only category, which applies to confidential discovery material of such highly confidential and personal, sensitive, or proprietary nature that the revelation of such is likely to cause a competitive, business, commercial, financial, personal, or privacy injury. Specific examples of categories of discovery material that may qualify as confidential or AEO discovery information in a case of this nature, including, for example, previously non-disclosed information unique to the entertainment industry, such as, for example, creative ideas or client relationships or information of a personal or intimate nature in a case involving high-profile individuals and allegations of sexual harassment. Okay, that's what they were alleged.